Hey guys, this is Sin. So in this video, I'm going to show you the assets grid so that you can familiarize yourself with it. First, I'm a global admin, so I'm going to switch to the Falcon tenant. And then from here, I can go into the assets area where you see an overview. So while I am on the Falcon tenant, I'm going to switch to the UTS theme. I guess I've gotten used to this blue dark theme, and it kind of have grown on me. So you have an overview page that shows you summarized information of where the assets are as far as their location, their types, and 30, 60, 90 assets that are about to expire, their certifications, right? So that's a nice overview. We also have a grid view. So here's the grid view. You can paginate here on the bottom right here, and as well as change the number of items you can see per page, right? When you click on a row, you can see more details about the asset, as well as its maintenance records, if there are any. Okay, and as well as you can schedule the last time it was maintained, right? And when that maintenance will expire. Really, this is kind of scheduling when your next maintenance should be, as well as any acquisition, finance information, purchase date, purchase price, current value, which is calculated based on the it's not like we're actually calculating it based on the depreciation, right? I think it's currently manually calculated. You just have to input it into the system. In the grid, if there are columns that are empty, you can actually just click on this hide empty columns button and just collapse them, because if they're empty, there's nothing to see. You might as well just hide them. We only do that on a per page basis. So if you go to the next page and there's data on that second page, it would automatically show those hidden columns. So it's not like a global hide all those columns. It's only hide those columns if they are empty for that page that you're looking at the moment. Okay, hope that makes sense. If you want to add a new asset, click on the plus sign. You can add a new asset here. Any asset tagging system you may have in your company, right? And if an asset is part of a larger component, you can actually assign its parent. So, for example, if I want to associate this asset to be its parent to be CAEBS05, I can just select that as my parent. All right, I'm going to call this asset child 1. And if I hit save, I can fill in the department, the location. Later on, we'll let you enter your own custom location and departments. Right now, you can't add any more departments, or the location you can if you go to the menu here on the left. But yeah, we're still working on these drop downs to ensure that you can create your own custom items. Okay, so if we hit save here, child 1 is going to fall under CAEBS05. As you can see, now you can expand and see child 1. Okay, so I hope that kind of makes sense. That's how you assign an item to be a child of a parent item. Okay, so that would be like, if that's a car, this is the tire. Okay, let's see. I mean, it all works the same way. You can attach files to this. I guess I already have some game screenshots here. So if you do, they show up as a file attachment, and you can also assign a picture, which is slightly different, which is a picture of this asset. Okay, and later on, what we plan to do is create a thumbnail view, so that if you have assigned pictures to these assets, you'll be able to see them in a thumbnail view later on, once we've developed that. And these action buttons are just shortcuts to the dialog boxes that you saw earlier, right? So that first icon is the asset, the second one is the maintenance tab, and that third one is the acquisition and finance. Okay. You can also manage the asset types, right? And again, overview here of the assets per type, the type that has assets. Okay. And then asset count per type. So again, just summarize some information for just basic knowledge. This is a grid view and the grid form of the asset type here. So as you can see, there's really not much to the asset type right now other than its name, honestly, and who its parent is, and the display order. The display order is kind of how you override the sorting of the grid. So if you want an item to, for example, to appear at the very top, I can just give this a display order of 99, because every single one of these items here have a display order of 100. And so now by doing that, you can see Hellistrop now appears at the top. Now, actually, on the dot, dot, dot here, and all the grids behave this way, there's a lot more columns available in the database than what's shown on the grid. So for example, if I want to show display order, right? So you can see what I'm saying, that every single item has a default display order of 100. And so by me setting the hello strap to 99 forces it to appear at the top. So kind of think about that as me just pinning, in a way, this hello strap to just appear at the top. Okay. Now the list view is really cool because it does let you see visually the parent-child relationship in a tree manner, right? And so that kind of helps out just visualizing the parent-child relationship. Same information here, as far as what you've seen already, because really the grid view and the list view is really showing the exact same information, just in a different way. Okay. I think that's about it in a nutshell. Yeah, there really isn't much in the asset type right now. The asset location works in pretty much exactly the same way, so I'm probably not going to go over it in any more detail. We try to make each section of the asset module really be somewhat identical to each other. That way the learning curve is easier for the user. Once you've learned how one grid works, all the other grid works the same way. Once you learn how one form works, all the other form basically works the same way. Okay. Now, if the user has permission, so this is permission based, the system will allow you to do permanent deletes. I know in UTS 1.0, we didn't really have any, I think we only have one permanent delete button in the entirety of UTS 1.0. In UTS 2.0, it is going to be everywhere, right? It's permission based. So for as long as you have permission to do permanent deletes, it will allow you to do permanent deletes. Of course, only global admins, aka UTS, by default will have the ability to do permanent deletes for, legality reasons, of course. Again, same behavior, so I'm not really going to show this too much. One thing we are going to work on in the future is if you go to the overview and you can see that, like C survival pool has 85 assets underneath it. Right now, you can't click on this to just see what those 85 items are. But for the time being, and we are going to fix that, just go to the list view, right? Find C survival pool, and you can see all the 85 items. You can see right there, 85 items. That was being shown on that graph. So this is basically the detail of that graph. And later on, you'll be able to click on this graph and we'll be able to take you straight into that detail information. So for the time being, this is version 1.0. We didn't have time to program everything. That's all that we have. But we are going to work on this. We do understand the limitation or the frustration of not being able to click on these graphs. Rest assured, we will fix that. This is where you change the theme of how the site looks. You are not changing tenants by changing the theme. This is simply just the color scheme, right? Okay, so don't panic. As a global admin, right, if you're watching and you're a UTS person, you're going to see all of these themes. But the client, so if Andy were to log on to the system, right, Andy from Falcon, he'll actually only see paper theme, UTS theme, and Falcon. All right. Obviously, it doesn't make sense for Andy to see the Hibiscus theme or the other company's theme, right? But since he knows about UTS, I think it's okay that he sees how we style our version of the site compared to his version, which is your more traditional business styling, the usual black, white, gray type stuff. I think the UTS theme has grown on me. I didn't used to like dark theme, but I kind of do now, I guess. Okay. This pause button that you see here is really for the animation. If you look at the animation in the background, it's not just like a movie or an animated GIF playing. It's dynamic. It's actually JavaScript and CSS or whatnot, SVG probably. So if that's annoying the user, and there's also some parallax, depending on where you move the mouse, you notice the background is moving. So if that's annoying you or some other users, just let them know they can actually just pause the animation, and they'll actually remember that setting, so it doesn't turn on the animation the next time they come to the site. And that's about it. So the menu that you see here, I'm on the main menu here, right? Right now, there's only 2 for Falcon. All right. Later on, we're going to have a whole bunch more that we planned out that we're going to do for UTS 2.0, as you can see. So right now we're only delivering assets. But as you can see from here, we plan on delivering a whole lot more in the months to come. And you can toggle it on and off here. Basically, when the developer mode is turned off, like it is now, what you're seeing are only the functional aspect of the site. So we don't want to confuse Andy or any one of the other clients that we have. So everything that's on the site is working and clickable, designed to be used now by an end user, right? By our customers. The developer mode really is intended for the developers, right? This is really the vision that we're working towards. We are leaving this toggle here that's so that the client themselves can actually turn it on if they want to, so that they can actually see for themselves the vision that we have for our platform, right? So we're hoping that, that can be like some sort of marketing tool, so the client is aware of what we're building towards. But by default, it's turned off. So what they see is a more simplified, minified view of the application. So just be aware that that switch is there. And also, this is where you change your password in case you don't know where to change your password. What else? When the developer mode is turned on, we are almost done with the user interface for the role-based access security, aka the security for the site. Everything is working fine on the database store procedure side, but just the UI is probably 80, maybe even 90% done at this point. So for now we've hidden it because it's not quite ready. It needs more testing. All right, well, this is it, and I guess that's just a quick overview of UTS 2.0, and in particular, asset management, which is the first module that we're delivering under the UTS 2.0 banner. I hope that was helpful for some of you. All right, thanks, guys. Take care. Bye.